Give men a microphone and they will always tell on themselves. Justin Bieber's new album is a demonstration in real time of how women get okie-doked into horrible relationships. Because what are these lyrics? Baby, I ain't walking away. The first red flag here is him having to say that at all. That kind of reassurance only comes from men who are definitely going to walk away at some point. When a man says, I'm not walking away, it's either a prophecy or a threat. You are my diamond, gave you a ring, I made you a promise, I told you I'd change. Just human nature, these growing pains. And baby, I ain't walking away. So it is a threat. If men have to make promises like this to you ahead of time or remind you of all the things that they've like bought and done for you, all of that is part of the Okie-Doke pipeline. That is literally how so many women get convinced into staying with losers who have now become dependent on them. At some point in time, this was a big win for Hailey Bieber. Like getting together with this man was a big win for her. But at this point, it is objectively a loss. This man has done nothing but embarrass her. Those are the moments that we have gotten to see. You know, people will see all these clips back to back. Hailey tripping and falling out of the car, trying to chase Justin, of him closing the doors on her, getting in her face and yelling, a little basketball Chuck E. Cheese incident. There's a certain point until which you can say like, oh, those are just edited together or those are just clips. At another certain point, you do have to admit that the sheer volume of the clips is actually what needs to be explained and not the individual circumstances between each one. At some point, that's not helpful. At some point, it's like if somebody can make an entire edit of like things you've done to embarrass your wife, it doesn't really matter why you did those things. Like, you're just not being careful. You're not putting her reputation on the line at all. That's scary when you become the mother of somebody's child. Being married is one thing, but once you have a kid with someone, you really are tied to them forever till one of you leaves the earth. It is important that you don't get okie-doked into this kind of a marriage. The temptation is going to be to believe these promises and to be like, no, like I'll get together with him and then he will change. But the truth is, it's a shit test. Like it was a test the whole time. Because if you get together with a man before he has to make any changes, then guess what he now knows? If a man's trying to okie-doke you into this, it's so that he can later say, well, you knew I was like that when we got married. Like I told you I'd change and don't worry about it. Like I will. Never said when. You really don't even want to marry somebody who has to change in order to marry you because they will likely resent you for that or throw it back in your face or just never follow through on it. If the person is not marriage ready, then simply do not marry them. That obviously goes for both genders, but I feel like women are primed and prepped for this kind of bullshit to be effective on them. Frankly, most men would never marry a woman who was like, I'll learn how to cook and clean after I marry you. I'll think about having kids once we're married. I'll support your career maybe someday. Like, they won't fuck with that. They'll be like, oh, you're not the one for me. You're not serious. You're not gonna hold me down. You're not gonna like do anything I want. You're not gonna build me up. Like, they don't want that. You have to keep that in mind. When a man says, I'm a work in progress, a lot of women subconsciously add to that. And I will change for you. I'm doing all of this and I'm a work in progress, like in a good way. So what most men subconsciously mean when they say that is, I'm a work in progress. And now that I've told you that, that's going to be my excuse to never act right again for a single day in my life. Even worse is when they can also say on top of that, oh, I gave you a ring. Oh, I gave you my loyalty. Oh, I told you I would never leave. And then women are like, yeah, you know, you're right. And it's like, but to what end? Has that benefited you in any way? Has a man's loyalty and commitment to a marriage where he's comfortable and allowed to do whatever he wants with no consequences, as long as he can throw it in your face that he married you in the first place, to what end? What is that worth? to you as a woman. A lot of women think it's worth a lot when in reality it's worth absolutely nothing. And I don't know, I just think Hailey Bieber has been made an unfortunate example of. I feel bad for her. She started this journey as a literal pick me, like she wanted Justin to pick her so bad. These are the rewards, these are the consequences that you will reap when you sow the seeds of being a pick me at any cost to a man that you have idealized and romanticized in your mind to the point where you missed all of the obvious glaring red flags. It's just what's gonna happen. Stay safe out there, ladies. I love you so much. Godspeed.